All right. So welcome to the closing session of today's conference. Just had a few more things to kind of go through before we sign off for the day. So first off, I would like to thank all of our presenters and the conference planning committee for getting all this together. I think hopefully you all learned quite a lot. I'll pass it over to Jasmine for any specifics, and then we'll also have some members of the planning committee speak as well. So Jasmine?
Yes, to add on to your thank yous, I want to definitely thank the librarians for all of their assistance as well. Again, a special thank you to two of the people who actually piloted the program. And because of that, we were able to get feedback so early on before officially starting our QEP project. So thank you, Tony Upchurch, and also Dr. Amanda Brandt for taking on the QEP pilot for us. And before we pass it over, Jeremy, to our conference planning to share any information that you want to give the faculty members, we're also going to talk about some of the pilot results as well. And again, if you weren't at the last session at 3, we're going to tell you, faculty and staff, how they can get involved with the QEP project as well.
Absolutely. So did you want to go to Amanda now, or?
If she's not on, we can go back. I think I saw Nancy.
She's here. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
All right, we'll pass it over to Amanda.
Hi, thanks, Jasmine and Jeremy. Hopefully my internet connection's okay. Had internet troubles today, but I just want to echo Jasmine and Jeremy's comments so far. I just want to thank the speakers so much. They volunteered to be here and share their wealth of knowledge with all of us. So thank you, speakers, so much. And thank you for participants for being here and being interested. I think everyone's going to benefit immensely from today's talk. I know I have already. The other thing I really want all of the participants to know is that this is our first time organizing this conference, and so we really look forward to hearing your feedback. We love to hear anything you have to share with us. So the conference planning committee has actually developed a survey that we'll distribute via email to you all. We have a few questions about individual breakout sessions, so as well as some of the group sessions. So feel free to go ahead and answer as you can for those sessions you did attend. We'd love to have your feedback. If you are Lake-Sumter faculty and staff, we have some specific questions geared towards you and your interest in perhaps becoming an information literacy instructor, maybe even an ambassador, as Jasmine kind of mentioned in our last session. And so with that, I would just like to go ahead and ask my fellow conference.
I think we're losing you there, but we'll pass it over to Katie. Yeah.
Beth, Katie, and Nick, we turn it back over to Jasmine.
Unmute Jasmine.
I think it's to you, Katie.
Oh, is it to me? Okay.
Yes.
I don't have a ton to say. You will be getting an email that will contain a link to the conference survey and also a link to a website that will contain every single session. I know there are a few people that had issues getting into the morning sessions, so I wanted to make sure that you had access to the recordings. So those will be sent out to you within the next couple of days. So please just look in your email for that information. Thank you.
I guess I'll go ahead and add on this piece too, if it wasn't already mentioned. The conference planning team did put together a very cute gift bag with all of our QEP swag. So please feel free to pick those up at either the Leesburg campus or the Southlake campus.
Yeah, so if you're faculty or staff that are here today and you haven't already gotten your stuff, it includes a nice lunch thing and a coffee cup and a sticker and a pen and And so absolutely get those things. As I understand, Katie has piles of them in her office. And definitely do that. It's a little harder to distribute things these days.
Right.
I will make those bags available at both the Leesburg Library, and as of next Wednesday, they'll be at the South Lake Library.
So I'll go ahead and share the pilot results from last year in both SPC 2608 and BSC 1010C. And just an overview, this will be very brief. We do have these 3 documents on our website, lssc.edu/QEP. So these were the 3 documents that the librarians and the faculty members who piloted the QEP used to redesign their assignments. And this just says speech, but we did do this for bio as well, and for any other course that goes through our program. So we have the IL rubric. The faculty has the option to use all of the outcomes, which will be assessed by our evaluation team. So that is up to the faculty if they want to use all 4, or maybe even 1 or 2 of those outcomes. We have our QEP assignment template and our planning checklist for research assignments, which were both used to redesign the format and also to make sure that we include different resources that are available to them for that assignment type that they may have. So just some background information about the QEP assessment, how we plan to do that. A student can earn up to 4 total points for each outcome. Again, we have 4, so earning from 4 to 16 quality points. The scores on each outcome will be totaled for each student and divided by 4. The number will be the student's average achievement level. So we have 4 achievement levels. 1 equals initial, 2 equals emerging, 3 equals developed, and 4 equals highly developed. The average achievement levels for all students will be totaled, yielding the total quality points. The total quality points are divided by the number of students in that classroom to arrive to the total composition score. And the composition score is under table 13. For our 5-year project, each year we have a target composite score. And surprisingly enough, we're going to go to the next slide and we'll see that we actually hit our target composite score for year 5. So we did talk about making some adjustments to this.
Yeah, all plans don't survive first contact. So you learn a lot when you start actually doing some evaluation. So I'll let you go forward with that.
And it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. But still, we are going to make some adjustments to this chart. So for public speaking, we actually did have the initial scores from spring 2020, but that was before implementing the QEP project. So we only have summer and fall. As you can see here, for both summer and fall of last year, identify and evaluate are in the develop stage. For fall 2020, use and cite are both developing, as well as for summer 2020, citing shows that we still need some improvement. Again, that is also in our develop stage. For BSC 1010C, 2 of our, identify and evaluate were both developed, and then use and cite, which was the same, surprisingly enough, in SPC. They both also are in the developing stages as well. And the librarians, we did have a few feedback that will be given to our faculty members on how we can go about improving these areas that still need some work. So for example, for citing, myself and Tony Upchurch talked about including some additional resources into her Canvas shell to have more examples, handouts that her students can look at to properly cite. And then even a conversation of whether we're going to allow them to do either 2 different citation styles or 1, because that was another feedback from the evaluation team. We saw them mixing citations. So we may want to clarify that. That's just a thought for Tony's class, that we'll go ahead and be more specific and clarify how we want them to cite and giving them examples on how to do that properly. And even having a session included as well to do a live demo on that.
So yeah, so the assessment is one piece of this. So the information literacy ambassadors and the steering committee and librarians are the ones kind of doing the assessment. But the real crux of it is those conversations in that collaboration. So the summits is kind of where we're going to discuss the results, come up with strategies, develop tools. And as you've seen the sorts of things we've learned over the last few years, and the things we've learned more recently, and even through this conference, the sorts of things like, oh wow, that works, right? Sort of a big goal, sort of the non-numeric goal of the QEP is to get that collaboration and those things kind of rolling. So it's going to be sort of crucial to kind of keep that going. And yeah, we're going to have these scores. We're going to try to make the scores obviously go higher. We have these big benchmarks, but I think what we're really going to see the results is when it like what we saw with Tony or with Amanda, where you see kind of the changes through your course and the reinforcing of those information literacy components.
And then also I would like to add, even after the pilot, the professors, they did talk about if they could change their level of intervention. So that is open for faculty that do join the program. If you see that you want to change your level of intervention for the following semester, then you can do that. And again, that is a flexible level for you guys to choose from. If you don't want to choose it, that's fine, but you can always come back to us if you want to change it up for the following year. And then going back to the last session, if you want to get involved, there are 2 different trainings that we have that our librarians developed. The CILI, which is short for Certified Information Literacy Ambassadors. These will be the group of people that will complete the IL training that we've developed in a Canvas show. You will submit an assignment and work with the librarian to modify those assignments. And again, going back to our first slide, you'll have 3 different sheets or handouts that you'll use to work with the librarian to make sure that you incorporate those QEP SLOs. And then lastly, this is optional. I want to reiterate that it is optional. You can select a level of librarian intervention, and this is mainly for our teaching faculty, not so much staff. As far as staff, we're still working on how we can incorporate this into your departments as well. This addition to the CILI training, if you want to become an LI ambassador, again, you can do just the CILI training and leave it at that. Just go ahead and gain the knowledge if you want to better understand information literacy and applying it to your classroom. But we do have the second level, which is information literacy ambassadors. And this will be an additional assessment training as well as an IL rubric application training. And these 2 will both be live, which we have talked about the librarians hosting this in a Zoom and using breakout sessions to complete this training for those who want to extend their knowledge. And again, this will be a stipend role, and you will be required so many hours a week to this project.
And so kind of we had that sort of scaled idea. So the rollout of the whole QEP is a 5-year project. And so we're sort of in the piloting phase. We're still have to have a couple of things to work out within the plan on exactly where we're going to go. So much of what we want to do is to use this conference as a springboard, kind of get it in everybody's head that, hey, I have this assignment that would be great. And then, not to, do a whole bunch right at once. We want to sort of slowly scale it out, but we're in the planning phases. And so if we're working with the Dean's Council and with faculty members who have already reached out. And so the idea is we want to kind of expand this, get a few people, if we're getting maybe 2 or 3 people trained as information literacy ambassadors by the end of the spring. Right at this point, it's the steering committee. It's Jasmine and I and other librarians that are working on it. So the idea is we kind of, like you said, it's not going to be a forced sort of thing, but at some point we're expanding this not to cover every single section everywhere, but to certainly that is going to impact our students at several different occasions, and we can make some estimates by like year 5 if we have this many of these courses. Here's how far. So the specificity that we're going to need over the next couple of months is about right there. That's the expectation from SACS, our accreditor. So. So yeah, basically we're kind of asking, you know, hey, we have this training set up in Canvas to become a silly, which I think is a cool title. And then, you know, if you guys want to get more involved in, you know, going from there to become information literacy ambassadors, we kind of already have maybe the first couple of steps past what we're doing in bio and speech, but it's an exciting time to do this kind of thing. And hopefully you heard from those who have been involved with Tony and Amanda that, you know, it's not a really difficult thing. Even with Amber, you know, it's not like, you know, so we're coming to mess with things. It's like, no, we want to, we all have the same goal to reinforce these skills for our students. And we want to essentially adapt and improve things you're already doing, and then just have somebody else keep track of it, right? The committee keeps track of it. You set the thing up, it runs. If you don't want any more involvement after becoming a silly, that's fine. But that's kind of the direction we're thinking to go. We just want to put, you know, specific plans for year 2, for year 3 onto a paper, essentially, at this point.
Right. If anyone has any questions or any feedback about the conference today, please let us know. We'll go ahead and open the floor for anyone who has any suggestions even, and feel free to unmute yourself if you would like.
So did you all learn something today? Was it worth your time? We hope so.
Or is there a comment in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Sure, from Dr. Morse and from Tyler. All right, very good. I know, and thank you. I mean, we had some very kind of institution-specific things here, but I know some of the other schools were interested in what we were doing.
Anyone interested in becoming a silly at least?
For our faculty.
Right. I see a yes. Awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm already a silly. That's clever.
Excellent.
Oh.
And once again, thank you so much to our presenters. And, you know, we want to make sure that you feel appreciated, and for all of our attendees. Seemed to go off relatively smoothly. So I can say that now, or towards the end of the day, because you never quite know with these things. So hopefully we didn't lose too many. So expect that email with the survey to give us some to some of that, and so the resources being sent out. So I believe the plan is, and Katie, you can from your committees, from your workforce, your work team, they'll be creating a LibGuide with sort of the links to the videos as well as those resources. So for the QEP, I'll put in the chat for everybody, the one that Jasmine mentioned earlier. That is our web address for the QEP, which has a lot of those documents. And if you want to read the whole QEP, you can. We're still making a couple of adjustments there. But that's where you'll find the rubric, the intervention levels, even some piloting information. And the email Jasmine just put into the chat, qep@lssc.edu. For those internal, external, feel free to reach out. We want you to kind of keep this conversation going, because we do really value this particular skill in our students and in us, and how to teach that, right? Information literacy. I mean, I think it's an incredibly important critical thinking skill, and most educators probably would agree with me there. So I don't know if we have anything else. I think all of the other things will come through email. Was there anything else from the planning committee that we missed?
Nothing that I can think of.
Okay. We're good, Amanda says. All right. Well, excellent. Everybody have a great afternoon, and I'll sign off, and I'll give it to Jasmine to sign off as well. So thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. Take care. I hope to hear from faculty soon about joining.
Yeah. Fine job, Jasmine.
Same to you.
Take care.
You too.